Hi everyone, welcome to today's restorative yoga class. This is perfect for anyone who spends a large portion of their day seated at a desk. We are going to be stretching deep into the hamstrings, working through gentle folds, side body stretches. So when you're ready, find yourself a comfortable seated position. On your next inhale, we'll extend our arms overhead, finding length along the torso. Exhale, lower the hands to heart center. We'll take 3 cleansing breaths to commence practice. Slow, gradual inhalations through the nostrils and exhaling through the mouth. You might like to keep the eyes closed or maintain a soft gaze. We'll walk our left fingertips over to the side, gently lowering our right ear towards our right shoulder, finding a nice side stretch along the left side of the neck, lowering the chin to the right collarbone, chin to chest, and back to center. Placing the left palm on the leg, walking the right fingertips out, lowering the left ear towards the left shoulder, chin to collarbone, chin to chest, and back to center. You might like to create some half moon shapes, rolling the neck in one direction and back in the other. Paying attention to any areas that feel a little interesting. Maybe finding some full moon circles. Tuning into your body and your energy levels for today. From here, we'll lower our left forearm onto the mat, extending our right arm overhead, finding a side body stretch along the right side. Exhale back to center. Inhale, walk the right fingertips out, lower onto the forearm, extend the left arm. Being mindful to keep both sits bones in contact with the surface beneath you. Warming up the torso. Exhale back to center and again. This time we'll come forward in a half moon shape, lowering our right forearm down and again scooping around to the side. Maybe extending the arm back slightly, coming into a bit of a back bend. A nice heart opener, creating space to let go of any stored emotions. And working our way to a seated position. From here, we'll extend our left leg out on a diagonal. Foot is flexed, toes and knees are pointed towards the ceiling as we come into Parivrita Janusir Sasana, revolved head to knee pose. You might like to lower your left forearm onto the mat, extending the right arm towards the toes. Exhale back to center. And again, lowering down. Finding your cadence. Really stretching into the QL region of the lower back. And we'll stay down and hold. You might like to interlace your fingers around your toes. Being mindful to keep the shoulders opened. Maybe gazing up or closing the eyes. Finding any modifications that work for you today. Feeling yourself sink a little deeper into the posture with every exhalation. Letting go. Exhale back to center. We'll cross our left leg into the midline, this time extending our right leg out on a diagonal. Taking a moment to find any adjustments. Inhale, extend the arms overhead. Exhale, lower them to heart center. And we'll find those side body stretches, lowering the right forearm down. Exhale, come up. Inhale, lower down, extend the left arm overhead, finding that side body stretch. Being mindful to keep a slight activation in the core so that we're protecting our lower back here. Seeing if you can soften into the legs. We'll stay down and hold. Maybe reaching for the right toes with the left fingertips. You might like to place the right palm somewhere along the inner seam of the left hip crease. Finding what works for you. Breathe. One more breath. And beginning to work your way upright to a seated position. Gently guiding yourself to face the short edge of your yoga mat. As we set up for Dandasana, stick pose, legs are extended, kneecaps and toes are pointed towards the sky, finding length through the crown of the head, shoulders are rolled back and down, abdomen is engaged. One breath here. From here, we'll externally rotate our left hip, flexing the knee, drawing the left sole of the foot towards the inner seam of that right leg, setting up for head to knee pose, Janusir Sasana. Inhale, extend the arms overhead, slightly twist the torso to the right, exhale, hinge from the hips, forward fold, intuitively aligning your sternum, the breastbone, with the middle of that right thigh. Allowing yourself to melt into the posture. Maybe using props here, you might like to place a block on either side of that right foot. Perhaps lowering your forearms onto the blocks, or for a deeper stretch, you might like to place a block on top of that right shin, resting your forehead on it, and allowing yourself to melt over that right leg. Perhaps joining the chest and the belly to the right thigh. Maybe interlacing your fingers, your hand around that right foot. Whatever enables you to find a level of comfort. We will be in this variation of this posture for about 1.5 minutes. So really allowing yourself to get comfortable, taking any modifications, or changing the posture altogether if that's suitable for your levels today. Letting go, tuning into the breath. One more slow and gradual breath. And in your own time, placing the props aside as we come up and out of the posture, re-extending that left leg, maybe moving the legs once or twice, internally and externally rotating the hips. And we'll get set up to go on the other side. Externally rotating the right hip, flexing the right knee, placing the sole of the right foot on the inner left thigh, ensuring that both sits bones are squared, grounded to the mat. Inhale, extend the arms overhead, slightly twist the torso to the left, hinging from the hips, either staying upright or finding a fold, using any props that help you find your level of relaxation. recognizing that any thoughts that come to the surface are not you. You are not your thoughts. You are simply the watcher, and you have the power to let go of any attachments, choosing to direct your focus elsewhere, choosing to tune into this present moment, embracing stillness, letting go. One more breath, and when you're ready, placing the props aside as we return to a seated position, re-extending that right leg, finding any movement that helps you achieve a state of equilibrium. And from here we'll set up for Paschimottanasana, seated forward bend. You might like to place your blocks on either side of your legs, your feet, allowing you to hinge forward whilst maintaining a neutral spine. If you'd like to take it a little bit deeper, placing a block on your shins, maybe placing a block behind your feet, grabbing either side of that block just to help you find length along the posterior chain. Melt the heart and the chest towards the legs, finding stillness. One more breath. And inch by inch, with guidance from your fingertips, working your way to Dandasana. From here we'll come into Ardago Mukasana, crossing your right leg over your left. Knees are aligned, the left leg is extended, foot and knees are facing skywards. Inhale, extend the arms overhead. Exhale, lower them to heart center. either staying in an upright seated position or coming into a forward fold. Again, finding props that are suitable for you today. Every body is different. You might be feeling a really deep stretch along the underside and the belly of the calf muscle. It might be helpful to place a blanket under the kneecap just to release any extra pressure, or placing a blanket underneath the hips to aid with folding in these seated variations. Tuning into the breath. Slowly beginning to work your way out of Ardago Mukasana, re-extending that right leg, finding any adjustments, and we'll get ready to go on the other side, flexing the left knee, crossing it over the top of the right leg is extended, both sits bones are grounded. Inhale, extend the arms overhead. Exhale, lower them to heart center, and either staying upright or finding a fold. Taking your adjustments, recognizing that there can be imbalances in the body, so if one side feels at all a little different, just be compassionate with yourself. This is an opportunity to lean into the discomfort and spend a little bit more time nourishing that region of the body that could use a little bit more love. Gently releasing from the posture, working your way up to a seated position, extending the left leg. You might like to scoot forward on your mat slightly, grabbing onto the underside of your thighs. Soles of the feet are planted on the mat as we begin to roll down one vertebra at a time into a supine position, coming down onto our backs. Either staying here, or you might like to heel toe your feet towards the edge of the mat, allowing the knees to gently rest against one another. Feeling the lower back, the lumbar and sacral region really connect with the earth. You might like to place one palm on the belly, one palm on the chest, deepening your connection to the breath, facilitating that mind-body awareness. And either staying here or drawing your knees towards the chest, maybe interlacing your fingers around the shins, maybe rolling the knees in one direction, or finding some organic movement, listening to what works for you today. Maybe coming into happy baby, grabbing a hold of the big toes with the peace fingers and the thumb, or placing your hands around the lateral edges of the feet, drawing the knees towards the armpits, perhaps extending one leg out at a time. This is a great passive way to stretch deep into the inner hamstrings. Perhaps extending both legs out together and being mindful to keep the lower back in contact with the surface beneath you. And in your own time, we will set up for Shavasana, corpse pose, final relaxation. This is a wonderful opportunity to place some blocks or a pillow, a bolster under your knees, particularly if you have a sensitive lower back. It's going to help relieve any pressure from that region. And maybe placing a yoga strap or a black material over your eyes to facilitate further relaxation. Allowing the body to melt into the mat. Letting go of any tension, any stress, whether it be mental, energetic, physical. Simply arriving in this moment. Perhaps noticing the rise and the fall of the belly, the chest. Maybe you attune to a slight temperature gradient of the airflow between inhalations and exhalations through the nostrils. Allow the shoulders to soften towards the mat. Unclench the jaw. Soften the lips. Allow the tongue to remain passive in the mouth. Unfurl the eyebrows. Relax the temples. Relax the arms. Feel the chest and the rib space softening. Relaxing the pelvis, the legs. Becoming more passive, more at ease. Either resting in stillness, tuning into the breath for the next few moments, or you might like to recite a mantra or an affirmation to yourself. Slowly beginning to arrive in the body, perhaps inviting some small movements, becoming aware of the surrounding environment, taking as much time and space as you need. And when you're ready, rolling over one side into a fetal position, perhaps using one arm as support, the other as a pillow. And keeping the eyes closed, we will work our way up to a seated position. Rolling the shoulders back and down, maybe placing the palms on your lap. Recognizing your efforts for showing up today. Appreciating your gesture to heal the mind, body, and soul and cultivate a deeper connection to yourself, to the present, to the environment. Recognizing that you are safe and all is well. On your next inhale, extend the arms overhead, finding length in the body. Exhale, lower the palms to heart center. Thank you all so much for today. Namaste.